has been over 2 weeks since Donald Trump narrowly escaped an assassination attempt while he was speaking at his rally in Pennsylvania. But the headlines that have followed have been centred around how a 20-year-old successfully managed to fire a shot at the former president without immediate interference from the Secret Service. The agency is under intense scrutiny, mainly its director, Kimberly Cheatle, for failing to secure the area, stopping Thomas Matthew Crooks from even opening fire to begin with, and the choice in Secret Service agents tasked with protecting Donald Trump. The failure from the Secret Service hasn't just been lambasted by Republicans upset by the attack on their nominee, it has been scrutinised on a bipartisan level, because in no way should a taxpayer-funded agency ever fail in protecting the life of a sitting or a former president. And it was clear from footage that had Donald Trump slightly turned his head, that bullet could have been fatal. So how did the Secret Service face accountability? On Monday, Director Kimberly Cheatle testified before the House Oversight Committee, where she was intensely grilled by lawmakers. Here are the top most savage moments from the hours-long hearing that made it clear the Secret Service dropped the ball in their role to protect Donald Trump. To kick off, the Secret Service claimed the rooftop in which the gunman shot the president from was already identified as a potentially vulnerable spot days before the rally took place. But the reason as to why no officer was situated on the roof guarding it was, according to Ms. Cheatle, because it was a sloped roof and therefore unsafe for an agent. This declaration was used against the Secret Service in the hearing.
So here's this thing with the slopes. You go all the way up to like 1812, you can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there, but the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112 roof. So these are nothing but pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung.
Further criticism for Kimberly Cheatle came when she was questioned by Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy over why rallygoers were able to spot and film the gunman minutes before he opened fire.
Let me show you some video footage by rallygoers. If you could play the video on the screen up here. This was taken 2 minutes before the shooting started. If you could turn up the volume.
Criminals. We have criminals.
He's
we
on
have
the roof. He's right.
We have people that
Right
should
here,
not be here.
right on the roof.
It's much
He's
tougher
coming
than
up now.
it happens.
You went right on the roof again.
Up here.
Ma'am, that doesn't look like suspicious behavior. That looks like threatening behavior to me. And the rally wasn't paused at that point either, correct?
I can tell you, as I stated earlier, sir, that the moment that the shift surrounding the president were aware of an actual threat.
That's a threat right there. The guy's on the roof and everybody's yelling at him.
Yes.
And directing the officer's attention to him. The rally was not paused at that point, correct?
We are currently still combing through communications and when communications were passed.
Well, I can point you to this communication. It's 2 minutes before the shots started ringing out.
It was Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace's questioning of Ms. Cheatle that got the director to admit the assassination attempt was a failure from the Secret Service.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question. Yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure? Yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent? Yes or no?
I have always been
Yes
eager
or
to
no?
come
You didn't
and
want to
talk
answer
to
the question.
committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political? Yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's
and then things escalated.
Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you
That
on
is a no. You're full of today.
Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene called out the director for failing to present a timeline of the events to members of the House.
We'd like a copy of the advance report. Have you brought it here with you today?
We will comply with the request for the documentation that has been requested.
When will that be, Ms. Cheatle? Because you should have brought it today.
I am certain that our personnel are working on obtaining all of that document.
I don't believe you, and neither do the people watching this hearing. You're not doing well, as Mr. Moskowitz informed you. You've been sitting here for over 3 hours, and I have you know the entire country is demanding you resign and demanding that you be fired if you do not resign. Things are not going well for you. You need to answer the questions.
Days after the failed assassination attempt, various reports indicated Donald Trump's team had requested additional security measures, to which the Secret Service allegedly declined. The Secret Service denied that Mr. Trump's team had asked for more personnel, but later backflipped on that statement. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan grilled Kimberly Cheatle in the hearing over which statement was true.
What a change from absolutely false, unequivocally false to, oh, by the way, there were some times where we didn't give them what they wanted. That's a huge change in 5 days. And the fact that you can't answer how many times you did that, that's pretty darn frustrating, not just for me, but for the country.
I hear your frustration.
Let me ask you this. Were any of those requests denied to President Trump's detail after you knew about the Iranian threat?
What I can tell you, again, I don't know the specifics, is that there are times when we can fill a request. It doesn't necessarily have to be with a Secret Service asset or resource. We can fill that request with locally available assets.
According to national security officials, it was revealed a few days after the assassination attempt that Donald Trump was given more protection because authorities had learned of an Iranian plot to kill the former president. Despite there being no connection between Thomas Matthew Crooks and this Iranian plot, it raised more questions over how much of a failure this protection was at the rally if a 20-year-old managed to get close enough to shoot at Donald Trump.
Are ISIS terrorists and al-Qaeda terrorists and international groups and terrorists more capable than a 20-year-old in pulling off either a mass shooting or an assassination of Donald Trump?
Sir, again, there was clearly a breakdown and a failure that day.
Have you read the intelligence of the terrorists that are currently in the United States that Director Wray speaks, and those individuals that are here that are affiliated with terrorist groups and organizations that are in the process, as Director Wray said, of representing a significant threat of a terrorist attack occurring in the United States?
I have read reports that apply specifically to the Secret Service's mission.
Director Cheatle, because Donald Trump is alive, and thank God he is, you look incompetent. If Donald Trump had been killed, you would have looked culpable. There is no aspect of this that indicates that there has been any protection to Donald Trump.
The heated hearing saw Kimberly Cheatle questioned over whether any member of the Secret Service had been held accountable for the failing in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Have any employees been disciplined for their role in Butler, PA incident?
No, sir, not at this time. I am asking those questions.
So no employee has been disciplined and no employee has been placed in any position that would place their job in jeopardy nor their standing in the agency.
We are still in the process of
That's
interviewing
not what
people.
I asked. You're the person that runs the place. You're the person that knows right from wrong, good from bad. You've had a number of days, and now you come before this committee knowing you're going to be before us, and you've got to slough it off to someone else. Do you see where there was something that went wrong as a professional at an agency with 28 years, or do you have to count on someone else to give you the final report?
The desire for Kimberly Cheatle to resign from her top job has grown louder, and it includes members of the Democratic Party who also believe the Secret Service fundamentally failed. While Ranking Member of the House Jamie Raskin used his time to discuss the dangers of allowing easy access to guns in general, He also expressed the need for Ms. Cheatle to resign.
What is depressing is the extraordinary communications gap between the director of the Secret Service and Congress. And I don't want to add to the director's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, but I will be joining the chairman in calling for the resignation of the director, just because I think that this relationship is irretrievable at this point, and I think that the director has lost the confidence of Congress at a very urgent and tender moment in the history of the country, and we need to very quickly move beyond this.